Once a year, the customizing scene concentrates on the edge of Stuttgart. Fans of Café Racers and nostalgic conversions meet in Leonberg at the Glemseck 101.
It's huge. There are an incomprehensible amount of people here and still a very, very good atmosphere. I'm totally blinded.
No, it's really good. I'm really enjoying it, and no, it's good. It's good fun.
The atmosphere is gigantic, great, madness.
A great day.
Glemseck 101. For 11 years, tens of thousands of motorbike fans have enjoyed a unique atmosphere around the world for 3 days at the Old South German Solitude track. Even with the hot 8-mile sprints, the entrance is free. Grandstands are contributed by the sponsors. Everyone is happy here, really. Camping for many bikers means to be close together, day and night.
Glemseck 101. Finally, it's time again. As children, we were waiting for Christmas for a year. Today, as motorcycle fans, we look forward to the beginning of September. Everything is on offer. Custom-made hobbyists from around the world and from all over the world. A huge range, low budget to high end. And then, of course, the sprints. Everything the motorbike rider desires.
Real characters can be seen here. Individual, but authentic. Countless bikes, of which there are only one. Unique models from the custom scene, which is more and more self-encompassing. At the Glemseck 101, the assembly line motorcycle no longer plays a role here. Rarely are there so many megapixels shot as around the old Glemseck Hotel, which gave the event its name. The beauty is, unique conversions are affordable for almost everyone.
We buy old motorcycles at a low price and try to rebuild them within our framework, from complete conversion to small changes.
5 motorcycle freaks from around Stuttgart have joined together as the Café Racers, Southern Germany, to live their passion. Everyone is a specialist in his own way and helps the others to turn ideas into custom bikes. Example, Yamaha XS 400, from a 1980s ugly duckling, became a unique scrambler.
It was originally a chopper. I've changed it to a scrambler. Bit of chrome and studded tires, it's just my style. I put another tank on it, made the seat new, the rear's modified, mounted studded tires on it, exhaust completely self-welded.
The result of all the work can be seen. With the help of craftsmanship and unrivaled investment, a single piece is created which attracts more attention than most new machines ever do. From experience, Thomas Helbig knows valuable tips for the motorcycle conversions.
MOT registrations are no longer so simple today. With this construction year, the MOT auditors, I would say, are more relaxed perhaps, but you should get in contact with the MOT before and have a conversation to discuss what you want to convert. And then the MOT engineers will tell you before whether it'll be a go or no-go.
Mick Shear has turned a respectable BMW R100 into a visually and technically wonderful Café Racer.
Well, I've always ridden motorcycles, series motorbikes earlier, then made minor modifications, a bit on the chassis and on the engine. You get a good Prada handbag for it, I think. That's why she's called Hungry Heidi, because she's been eating quite a lot of money, so I always build the motorcycles with me in the bedroom. If you go into chassis or engine technology, you should understand the craft a bit. That's the reason I had the engine done. This is not mine now because you have to do a lot with trial and error. There are shortcuts. That's left to people who know what they're doing. Chassis technology and things like that, I'll do myself.
The old 2-valve BMW Boxer engine is becoming an ever more popular base for custom bikes of various kinds. Low handlebars together with the dynamic single bench seat make it into a classic Café Racer, which could have stood in front of the Ace Café in London in the 1960s. Ignition lock on the right in the engine block, starter button on the left. Gadgets like this are individual and funny and give everyone who admires Mick Shear's Hungry Heidi something to consider. Hard to believe, a Honda XL500 Enduro can also be transformed into a veritable Café Racer.
Customizing in my life means this motorbike which stands here came from my lifeblood, really my soul. Through my profession, I've had the opportunity to live out this hobby and do things to a motorcycle which normally actually you can't do and can't get. The unique piece should simply lean a little bit towards retro history, but it should also show what a man can do with his own two hands. So, bending metal, welding pipes, letting ideas flow. And the result of the motorcycle is just awesome. I obtained the basis 3 years ago for 400 euros. Today it would not be possible for that money. And I've roughly put in, I would say, perhaps 4,000 euros, so about 150 hours. So really that would be 4,000 euros if someone wants to buy the thing. People in their cars, they look out their window and they show their thumb and they say, that's a really cool machine. And those are the moments that go down really well. The whole thing here is absolutely cool. The people who come here, the interest, the meeting the people. Then moments like when Dirk Oehlerking is with us at the stand, that sends a message. And you come here and you take a lot of it home again. The 3 days may be a bit stressful, but it doesn't matter. And the whole event is still going on in my head 3 months later. You have to process it again. It's so emotional and it's just so good.
Another member of the Stuttgart hobby mechanics community has approached a delicate issue. Oldtimer fans probably see this conversion of an NSU Lux from the 50s as a true profanity.
I've only changed it optically. Technically, I only installed disc brakes. And I rebuilt it because I don't like them in the original. Everyone has the original, I thought. I have to make something else out of it. I actually took a relaxed 3/4 of a year. Not continuously, but from time to time. So in 3/4 of a year, in winter, and now from spring to summer. I can't say now whether it's a loss of value or whether it's the same value. You always have to find someone who's looking for exactly that. This is less the material value that counts, but simply the fun of the thing, the commonality.
Here another total transformation from the Swabians. A muscular orange Café Racer is developed from a very normal XV650. Classic single bench seat, deep steering column and sporty suspension are also ingredients for the successful Café Racer recipe. It is what it is, or in Swabish, it's just that way. The saying is clear. Here is simply a bike in the personal style of Thomas Helbig, and thus entirely in the spirit of his hobby mechanic clique. From Motor Gadget comes the mini instrument, which scarcely distributes the puristic design line in the front. Yamaha R1 and SR500 were part suppliers. The result was a beautiful Café Racer from the Youngtimer building kit. Glemseck 101 is not only a mecca for customizing entire motorcycles, but also a paradise for every biker looking for accessories. Whether it's clothes or helmets, it's also quite individual. For example, painting. Custom bike fans can artfully decorate their covers. Also, rat bikes can't be missing. Chaotically put together motorcycles that are very rarely clean. A few meters further, an extreme contrast. A piquant Moto Guzzi Café Racer with checkered flag optics shines in freshly polished chrome. Free entry at Glemseck 101 means that nobody really knows exactly how many people flock here over 3 days. An estimated 75,000 are said to have been here last time, and the tendency continues to rise. Amongst other things, this attracts young bikers. Honda CX-500, the 80s icon, formerly frowned upon as a manure pump because of its water-cooler sound, is today a popular basis for conversions. Also, this imaginative Batmobile is based on an affordable young-timer technology. The BMW K100 is experiencing a real revival. The individual longitudinal four-cylinder is the basis for imaginative conversions of all types. The German market leader and other brands such as Ducati, Harley, Kawasaki, Moto Guzzi, Suzuki and Triumph are demonstrating what can be conjured up from their series bikes at the Customizer Festival in Leonberg. Concept 101. On its large stand, BMW even shows the study of the brand's new bagger, flat irons specifically made for the US market. And one can see, after more than a decade, the big motorcycle manufacturers take Glemseck 101 more and more seriously. But the heart of the varied event is 1 kilometer away on the sprint track. Presentation of the Gladiators. The participants of the 8-mile sprint show their wild motorcycles, some of which were especially built for the Glemseck 101. Brands and models are as colorful as the drivers. Also here, Carl Fogarty, affectionately known as Foggy, the 4-time Superbike world champion, is one of those superstars who always turns up at the Glemseck and sprints to hit the gas. Jörg Litzenberger is co-founder of Glemseck 101 and offers bikers and pilots his knowledge. The thousands of spectators are eager to attend.
I think this is also a very interesting point for people, that the motorcycles are not just static, but that they ride on the track, that they ride against each other, so a bit of competition. So I say now the interactive motorcycle experience which everyone understands.
In fast-paced time in the 8-mile sprint, which means from 0 to as many kilometers an hour as possible, and that in the merciless KO system. Thanks to the competence and passion of the organizers, the Glemseck sprints are highly emotional, but also absolutely safe. Bikers and organizers are equally enthusiastic and calm. For 2 days, the bikers in 13 different classes burn rubber tracks on the asphalt of the former Solitude finish line. Foggy wins his sprint class and thus fulfills the high expectations of a motorcycle champ.
Brilliant. Technische Probleme, sondern es hat halt einfach, das spricht aber für dich, ja?
Italo sprinter Francesco Gasperi on a Kawasaki is fairly beaten by the famous Carl Fogarty on a Triumph Thruxton R, and he's enthusiastic and humble.
Yeah, it's a fantastic feeling. It's the first time I've done a sprint race, and
But the Triumph Truxenaut was so good. You know, the bike was so good. I couldn't believe it. So the bike won the race, not me. But it always feels nice to win the race again. It's been a long time, but cheers, thank you.
Being eliminated is a pity, but okay.
Madness, I mean, you can still feel it, right? But the 3 hours before were hell. And then to go there forward with this beast from Triumph with a compressor. And I always had to keep the revs up because I had no starter and no battery, so I had to keep the revs. So really loud. Just crazy. I'd like to ride a few more times, but it's a KO system because otherwise it would take 3 days.
Spectacular. The Spartan sprint bike from Urban Motors in the class Essenza.
This is one of the highlights for me. I'm excited anyway about the idea as such. This Essenza as the essence of the motorcycle, and I have to say that Peter Dannenberg of Urban Motors with his team have interpreted it the best. So I have to say, hats off. It's not really about high performance, it's really much more. And this execution. So that is a breakthrough. I find that so awesome. I'm just speechless. So it's really, really great.
The sprint bikes of the 13 classes attract massive attention, just like the hyper-noble custom bikes from Enger Kraftstadt from Hamburg.
I'm just trying to combine the new with the old. This means I use a lot of old original parts with experimental new parts. And this, of course, gives a special look. Even if you don't believe it, this is a motorcycle from 1937 in the basis. It's a side valve normally. In a Harley it's 4 cams, and from this an overhead's been built, so a knucklehead. The other basic part is 1947. It has a 1-inch belt, airplane brakes, and the special thing about it is in principle the oil tank is in the seat. Everyone always thinks it'll be too hot, that one will get a hot butt. But it's not true, it's an Airbus insulation that works up to 650 degrees Celsius. A motorcycle is more, in other words, no one needs a motorbike, but it has an incredible amount of emotionality.
So the trend is, I think, off limits. Someday we'll see airplanes here.
The variety of bikes and bikers is endless in Leonberg. Anything that pleases is permitted. Motorcycling is for freedom, and this is alive and experienced at Glemseck 101 year after year, like almost nowhere else.